Hello, welcome to the Autonomous Developer Sync for October 6th, 2025. Wow. So fourth quarter, this is our first one of the fourth quarter. Year has flown by. Obviously, we've hit a ton of milestones this year. So looking at this week, though, the agenda is a little lighter than normal, but heavy on demo. So that's good. Be able to show off some of the things we've been working on. With that, I'm going to just have you jump in with the community updates, Jim.
Thanks, Jeremy. Yeah, even turning my hand to a demo today, so hold on to your hats. Okay, so no big hot topics really. Farming as usual. Farming on mainnet and Kronos is stable. We're not seeing any kind of recurring patterns of people who are struggling to farm. So moving on, crossing the narrow sea results. So yeah, we do have an initial set of results validated, and actually we've had a couple of community members who have kind of got on really early and verified that they're getting the same figures that we are, which is wonderful to see, and that includes on an independently synced node, so that's looking really good. There is still some review work there to be done before I want to post the final results, which will be going up on the forum hopefully this week. And in case you missed it, we haven't really made much fanfare about this, but there is a Taurus backup available, so it does take quite a while to sync a Taurus node. If you look in the guides and FAQ section on the forum, or if you have a look in the video description down below, I will update the description after the call. There'll be a link in there where you can find the Taurus backup and instructions on how to get a restore much quicker than syncing your own node from scratch, but of course not really a substitute from verifying yourself by syncing from Genesis. And a quick shout out to Vexar, who has created a PR, pull request 4, which has got a much nicer way to review the output. Enhanced wallet analysis. I want to say thanks, Vexar. As always, it looks really great. I haven't actually tested it myself. That's another thing I want to get back to. So yeah, keep an eye out. There'll be announcements when we put the Crossing the Narrow Sea results post out. And then, of course, Dawn of Autonomy, something else that a few community members have been asking about. So Dawn of Autonomy, we ran Spark and Seed. We have distributed the AI3 rewards. We are yet to distribute the Spark and Seed NFTs, which are, of course, special NFTs because they're backed by our storage. So our farmers are storing the images that are linked by those NFTs. We do have an application I'm going to show you in a little while, so I'm not going to go too deep here, but we need to update what we call Eternal Mint Pro, so that it handles Kronos and mainnet. Previously, it handled Taurus, and it was based mainly on Taurus. This is useful to us, of course, because the original plan was that we'd launch the NFTs on Taurus and then remint them on mainnet. So we're cutting out a step, which is really handy. Excuse me. There is good progress being made there. So the application has been updated to use Kronos instead of Taurus. We've also tested the graph indexing on Kronos, which is really useful because I'm not sure that's been tested since we moved from Taurus to Kronos. Because we're not using deploying an auto drive gateway for Kronos, it's been updated to use mainnet exclusively. And it's also actually been updated at the contract level so that it serves so that when we retrieve the image data, previously, because we had two auto drives, mainnet and testnet, we actually had to have an API endpoint to kind of unpick which network the images were being stored on. So now we just go to a single gateway, which means that your NFTs, when you see them in your MetaMask or you see them on the EVM Explorer, they're actually coming directly from the gateway now. Which is a pretty cool update. As I just mentioned, they're very viewable on our EVM Explorer on Block Scout. I'm going to show you this at the end of the call. And yeah, I've updated it so that you can now add your NFTs to MetaMask directly. You don't have to go looking for contract IDs, contract addresses and adding them manually. There's a much slicker way to do that. We are going to do a deeper dive, actually, a deeper piece on Eternal Mint Pro and also the token distributor, both of which were used to settle up the Dawn of Autonomy campaigns. So we're going to go into that on an office hours call. Not entirely sure when yet, but keep an eye out. We'll dig into those because it kind of shows you a bunch of the developer ecosystem that we have available, all working in tandem to produce a product. And everything that I've just been talking about can be found in the autonomous-community org on GitHub. Again, there'll be a link in the description at the end of the call, so you can find all this cool stuff going on in there. That's me. I'll be back in a bit, Jeremy. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jim. Ved, you want to catch us up on where we are with handling offline operators? For some context, this is a key component to being able to move to permissionless operators. So we need to be able to handle properly when operators have gone offline. So, Ved, where are we at in this?
Yeah. Hey everyone. So as Jeremy mentioned, this is one of the key things for us to have permissionless operators, and understanding what offline operators means here is that if a big operator who had a large stake, right now operator 1 has a larger stake out there, and if operator 1 ends up going down or operator 0 ends up going down for any other reason, the domain block production throughput will ideally reduce over a period of time. Like the operator won't be able to produce as many bundles as they were supposed to, and we want to, in order to maintain that throughput continuously, we are working on a way to detect these kind of offline operators and actually take necessary steps to actually keep the consistency of domain throughputs. We did make some initial changes to facilitate this, but this is at this point a bit of a manual process that involves a bit of a governance coming in and changing these. And what, as a next step, we are trying to do is the protocol itself determines who are offline based on certain set of parameters, and then notifying on chain, and then also deactivating them if the operator has continuously been offline or not able to perform to the expectations. That's at this current stage, we have a draft that is being reviewed internally by the team, and post everyone's an agreement, we will share that information, and we'll also start working on making these improvements into the Chronos first. Again, Chronos, our testbed, will be tested thoroughly, and then moved on to the mainnet as well, post follow-ups.
As far as the Chronos testing, this will be a big next component of Game of Domains. So we want to what many may think of as stake wars like competition. That a big portion of this is going to be testing our handling of offline operators. So the whole goal of that Game of Domains competition will be to battle test really permissionless operators is the end outcome we're looking for here. So, thank you, Ved. Tior, you have been continually, you and Carlos have both been contributing to the new chain alerts and monitoring system. So love to hear where we are with that, and maybe how the community can participate as well.
Sure. So we kicked this off a few months ago now as a proof of concept, and where we've been trying to get it towards a minimum viable implementation, which is a long way of saying something we're happy to put in production as to kick it off and to use for things that we need to look at internally if there's interesting things happening on the chain. But it's open source code, and anyone can run it if they want to monitor what all of the foundation wallets are doing, for example. There are alerts for that. There's a README in the project. There'll be links in the video description that'll tell you how to set it up. All you need to do is install Rust, and everything else will be downloaded and compiled for you. So yeah, you don't even need Slack. We're running it against Slack, but you can add a command line argument to turn Slack integration off. It works best if you run your own node. It connects to the local node by default, and it's a whole lot faster if it's just loading blocks from your own machine. It also doesn't store any local state, so if you decide you're done with it, then that's, it won't fill up your hard drive or anything like that. I already talked about the important addresses. What we were also monitoring is things like if it takes more than a minute for a block, there'll be an alert. If there's a large reorg or a large chain fork, there'll be alert. If an operator gets slashed, you'll get an alert in your logs. And if you're happy modifying the code, you might be able to do more with it. But yeah, I wanted to do a demo. So Jim, if you could pop my demo up on screen. So you'll be able to see in the history me checking that this demo would work as you do. So I'll just go through. So your first step would be to clone the repository, then move into that directory, and then you can use a command to run it. That command is in the README as well, so you don't need to write it down. And then it will go ahead and load a bunch of blocks, so it has a bit of history. I'm using the foundation node because I don't have one set up on my laptop at the moment, but you can use your own local node. And that takes a lot of time. So I'm just going to scroll back and show you what that would have been like. Yeah, here's one I prepared earlier. So yeah, it'll go ahead and load a whole bunch of blocks. Then it'll tell you it's loaded all of those blocks, and then it will start logging alerts. I swear I didn't plan this, but yeah, as I was loading this, there was a backwards reorg. So the foundation node dropped a block. So yeah, you'll see alerts come up like this. And let us know what you think. Feel free to open tickets, or if you're keen, you can open pull requests as well. And it'll tell you every so often that it's processed a block, just to let you know it's still loading blocks from the node. I think that's it for my demo, Jim.
I have a quick question.
Go ahead,
Ben. Community loves Docker. Is there a way for us to provide a Docker image for this? And maybe a Docker
there's a ticket for that, and you're welcome to follow along on our progress on the ticket.
Cool. Thanks. Great work.
I was going to highlight that running the local node does not need to be an archival node. It can be a pretty lightweight. Right, doesn't have to maintain a lot of historical state. I had another highlight, but Ved's question cleared my mind there of what it was I was going to ask next. So
sorry about
it comes back to me. So this is great. I think it's been interesting to see, for instance, the reorg. It's difficult to kind of monitor the depth of those in real time without having something like this. And so what we have seen, I think, from the statistics are just playing out exactly what you'd expect to see over time. So, a lot of 1 to 2 block reorgs, and then it gets very, very rare beyond that to kind of, I don't know, what were the stats, Tior?
I think in 2 weeks we saw 1 5 block reorg. So the general pattern being each extra block is 10 times less likely. So we would expect a 6 block reorg every 6 months. I don't know, something like that. Yeah, not very often at all. In fact, more likely that something else breaks on the internet than we see a 6 block reorg.
All right, Carlos, I see from the comments that this may be the most anticipated update. Somebody has mentioned they're interested to hear about Pay with AI3. So here's the opportunity. And I know you have another update that may have not made it into the agenda here that is key, and also a big request from users. So.
Yeah, for starting, we had also advanced the dark mode for Autodrive, and that's already live. I deployed that this morning. And today also, we will be starting to roll out the pay with AI3 feature only for our internal testing at the moment. But we will be testing that, and when we are in a better place to start rolling out to the public, we will deploy it to be available to everyone. And yep, that's kind of the status of both features.
Do you want to explain a little bit how the Pay with AI3 feature will work kind of in our first iteration?
Sure. Currently, when you sign into Autodrive, you are granted with some credits for uploading files. I think that at the moment it's 10 megabytes for you to upload in mainnet. So basically, having that a credit system, we will keep having that same credit system, and we, depending on the network conditions, on the network saturation, and the price of the token, we will have in a certain specific time a specific price that could basically be a conversion ratio between the credit amounts that you could buy, and then AI3 that credits are valued on. So basically, imagine that you want to buy 100 megabytes. We will basically convert using this conversion ratio that it's basically derived from the gas price on Auto EVM, on the consensus chain. Depending on, we could set a conversion ratio utilizing that factor, and basically in the Auto EVM domain, the user would have to send us the token to to a contract that we have set up, and we will listen to that payment, wait for some confirmations, and when the payment is confirmed, we will bump the user's credits.
A couple things to note kind of in that process. So that conversion rate, there will be a, if AI3 is, I'm going to use gigabytes. If it's $10 or it's called 100 AI3 per gigabyte on consensus chain, on Autodrive, it's going to cost something more than that because, we are maintaining infrastructure. There's some like infrastructure costs that we kind of built into that, and some risk because this is actually pre-selling access to the network. So if there's a big change in the price, we're taking some price risk there as well. We anticipate that users would probably only be buying what they're using because they're also taking price risk on that as well, and may not be wanting to do that. It also is, as we start to moving towards smart contract deployment, pricing, and purchasing, there's some potential opportunity for financialization around storage, which could be interesting, and we'd love to hear ideas from developers on what they think around that. So I've been putting together some of my ideas internally. Maybe we'll be sharing those over the next month or two. But externally is really where these kind of things, I think, can really develop in interesting ways. So I'd be really curious to hear what people's thoughts are on financialization of storage. And as mentioned, I actually just testing out the dark mode. It's wonderful there, Carlos. I know people love their dark mode, and so that is now live. So go and enjoy that. All right. Now, last, and as I mentioned before the call, starting a call with Jim and ending a call with Jim is a good recipe for a successful call. So on that note, Jim, you want to give your demo?
Are you just ratcheting up the pressure on a live demo of code that's only just gone out? Okay, no problem. I did actually. So it occurred to me I was adding So I'm keeping a track of the links that I'm going to update the video description with, and I put in some PRs that that have been landing for Pay with AI 3 feature. So if you're really keen, and I can see in the chat that people are keen to understand it, I'll put those in. But I did just notice as well that Teal's added important addresses. So that if the chain alerter, if I take it straight out of the box, Teal, does that mean it's monitoring like all the foundation accounts, the ones that we've published on the forum?
Yeah, so there's 2 forum posts. There's the original forum posts, and then I think there's another forum post about the Guardians of Growth special account, and they're all, or dedicated account, they're all in there. But people can add or remove addresses from that list. You can add your own wallet in there if you'd like, using any text editor.
But very convenient if you are keen on tracking the official wallets. It seems like it's just going to work out the box. So excellent. Thanks to you. All right. Okay. Let's see if this is going to work. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier, we've got a product. So this this originally was worked on as a pet project, kind of a passion project, I guess, by Mark, one of our developers, and it kind of, but really it was just a proof of concept. So the idea here is pretty simple. We have ERC 1155 NFT. And then we have that points to an image, and these can be images that are hosted on IPFS, for example. But of course, our DSN is a perfect candidate. Storage of NFT data. So that's both metadata and the image data. Is a really solid use case. Is something, you see reports about NFTs disappearing over time because people have disappeared. The location that the NFT metadata and image is being hosted has gone offline. So yeah, here we have, it's just a simple UI. I can see some extra stuff here because we also want to be able to distribute NFTs for our Dawn of Autonomy winners. But you can take a look at the NFTs that have been created. Yeah, okay, it's going to work for us. So this is my staging environment. So you can see here I'm just playing around. This list here is coming from the graph. So this is if you want to index if you want to deploy contracts on Kronos Auto EVM or Mainnet Auto EVM, out of the box you can use the standard graph client. And yeah, this is demonstrating indexing via the graph. Contracts on Auto EVM, and then the image data here. So if I go to this screen, so the idea is that we can build this out if we want to and have it a little bit more fancy. So you can, trade cards, maybe even collect cards. Maybe there'll be a contest where if you get the right set of cards, something cool will happen. Who knows? But this image here, hopefully it's coming out all right on the stream. This image here is actually being pulled from the Auto Drive file gateway, and this image itself is stored in your farmer's plots. So hopefully that ties everything together and explains how it works. Of course, it wouldn't be a demo if we didn't really take some risk and try and run it. I haven't done this since before the weekend yet, not on staging anyway. So let's create. Let's do 100. If you want an NFT. Send me your EVM address and I'll test the distribution. Okay, so let's see if this is going to work fine for us. I haven't broken, well, I haven't tried to break it. I haven't knowingly broken it, I should say. Okay, so so what I did was I just dragged an image in. We've got our name of our NFT, a link that we can provide, how many we've got, and we should hopefully, so now it's executing the contract on Auto EVM. That was too quick. What happened? I've got the right wallet attached. Let's have a quick look. Nothing obvious. Okay. Looks like I have messed up the deployment. If you can imagine that we've just created some NFTs and they are now appearing when we browse our NFTs, there would be a new one here. I will fix it, and I will stick to my word. If you tag me in Discord with your EVM wallet, I'll create them on staging and send them to you. But something cool that is new, actually. You may have seen this before. But so you can directly send cards to each other. You can now also add directly to MetaMask, something I didn't realize, but you have to go into settings and turn on, I think by default it says something like disable NFT metadata. You have to turn that on so you can actually see the images. But this is pretty nifty as well. You can now view your tokens on the relevant Explorer, which is working. Excellent. So we can see that we have our Eternal Mint Pro contract. This is the token ID here. Here's our image, our meta, the address that I set, and you can view the metadata. And again, you know, this is stored. It's being retrieved from AutoDrive. So we've got a few things in the developer ecosystem, all working together in concert to deliver this product. Hopefully, it can spark some people's imaginations out there. But yeah, watch this space, because we will do a deeper dive on this and some other kind of ecosystem utilities, if you like, that we've been working on.
Amazing. Love the live demo fail. That's always to show that, you know, we're real.
It's always been a trend with us, no?
I don't know if it's a trend, but you know, it's fun to know we're doing this. You know, this is not staged. So a failure every once in a while is good. At least I'll say that. All right. Well, I think that is it for today. I didn't see. Oh, actually, there is one question I don't really have an answer for. But I guess, you know, if you're talking about like a blockchain node for iOS or Android, I know long ago there had been talk of maybe farming, you know, from a phone, if that's kind of what you're getting at. That's not in the active roadmap now. Jim, do you have any more context on maybe?
No, I think it's exactly as you're wondering there. So can you run a farmer on a iOS or Android device? And yeah, we don't have it in the roadmap. It is something that's actually, it's come up a couple of times in the past, but it's not a firm item as far as I know.
Yeah, it's just it hasn't been kind of top of mind for us right now. There are a couple of technical hurdles that we would have to get past to really make that efficiently able to be done. Not to say they couldn't be gotten past, it just has not been a focus. So hopefully that gives you maybe not the answer you're looking for, but some more context. Of course, feel free to ask follow-up questions on that in Discord. All right. You can take us out, Jim?
I certainly can. Yeah, thanks for joining us today. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, comment down below and let us know what you think on today's topics. Send me your EVM address if you want one of our super rare developer sync NFTs. And of course, keep building with Autonomys. Thanks, everyone.